Before now, Dr. Peter Agada has been at the back end of everything government and governance. Literally every government that has been in place since 2004 to date had one reason or the other to engage myself and my team. I have a team. I lead a team of professionals in all Nigeria's 23 sectors. Some of us are home, some outside of Nigeria, doing excellently well in their various practices abroad. I lead a team of Nigerians called the Congress of Nigerian Professionals, and we have garrisoned together. Note the word I'm using, garrisoned, for the last 20 years. And the purpose of our meeting and gathering together was to produce a kind of solution template for all Nigeria's sectors of development. And from time to time, we are actually taking these solutions to different ministries, department, agencies, and government, and even a lot of government, intending government people, politicians who want to run for office, had actually also met with us. During the time of, there was a time Mr. Nasir El-Rufai was to run for office, Nasir El-Rufai campaign strategy. We wrote, and then it went beyond that to presenting a Federal Executive Council with infrastructure master plan that has oil, gas, roads, and other infrastructure, from where the Nigeria's, a lot of Nigeria's policies were drawn from there. It went beyond that to Buhari Tunde Bakare campaign. It went beyond that to Mr. Peter Obi, and then now it's coming for Mr. Peter Agada. So the Congress of Professionals have been doing this for a while, and I've led them for the last 20 years. In private practice, I've run an organization called Cyrus, the Cyrus Group, basically speaking, made up of Cyrus Acoustics, Cyrus Projects, Cyrus Infrastructure, okay, and then now the Apartments by Cyrus. So the Cyrus Group is a limited liability group of companies where we have been in the field of architecture, acoustics, even security infrastructure. We had actually at a point, as Tyler Cyrus over 10 years ago, propounded the solution for which the Nigerian Armed Forces were being told how to combat insecurity and insurgency in Nigeria. So you can see we've been there, okay, in the private sector area and in the political area. Now let me come to your question of why do I think I have to throw my hat in the ring. As a student of studying governance and government for the last 20 years, because even while we wrote policies, we were educating ourselves on how policies should be written and how policies should be presented and how policies should lead to reforms. We were studying. As a student of policy and governance, I've noticed one singular factor that has cut across the way governance has been run in Nigeria from 1999 to date. One common factor. And I said it a number of days ago when I stood at an event. And I said, even if an angel is sent from the right hand of God, you know, there are different angels in heaven. There's one at the right hand of God, the one with many eyes. Yes, in the book of Revelation, I'm a student of the Bible. Even if that angel is sent from heaven to come to Aso Rock today, and he becomes the president of Nigeria, and he wants to run this country using the same ideology and principles that every politician has used from then to date, the situation will not only go from bad to worse, it will go from worse to worse. What do I mean? If you notice, several great persons have come to office, and it appears like every single time they come, there's a lot of hope. When they leave, there's gloom. From Goodluck Jonathan, he was clapping. He was the guy without the shoes. He was a very humble man. By the time he was leaving, we had impunity all over the air. Oh, Buhari was coming. Magaskia is coming. Magaskia is coming. The righteous one is coming. By the time he was going, gloom. The man who took Lagos to the heights and to the skies of commercial existence and governance. He came, There was clapping of hands. Oh, we're going to make it. Towards the end, gloom. What is common to these people? One thing, ideology. They run Nigeria with one singular ideology. What's the name of it? It's the rights. What they call in these ideological schools of thought. They are extreme rightists. What does this mean? It simply means that these persons believe in total liberalization of the economy. It began from Obasanjo's time. Okay? Without the protection of the vulnerable and the weak in society was gradually paling into oblivion as these consecutive governments were coming. What does that mean? The weak and vulnerable in society, which Africa, the third world, and most other developing economy have a lot in abundance. Policies upon policies are being tweaked every day to reduce the amount of support that government outrightly and deliberately goes to do to help those persons. This present administration is the worst of it. Once you liberalize items as critical as petroleum, you have simply exposed the average struggling person in Nigeria.
In other words, are you saying the government should have retained subsidy in petroleum?
Yeah, I will go for, not necessarily retain the subsidy. I will go for some form of a phased removal of subsidy. Okay. Phase removal, but as I'm phasing it against something. I'm benchmarking my phasing against a build-up of strengthening processes and programs for those who are weak in society.
Some cushions.
Yes. There will be a dovetail. As I'm phasing out, I'm phasing in something. As I'm phasing out, I'm phasing in something. It's a dovetail. Deliberate. And that is what I'm sure by the time we get to Labor Direct, you will understand what it is. What I drive is a totally different ideology.
So it's good you mentioned Labor Direct, because from all I've seen and heard about you and from you, you talk about Labor Direct.
Yeah.
So the question now, which I'm sure will take us to Labor Direct ultimately, is you said this people is the ideology on which they operate. That's what's causing the whole problem. Why they don't seem to excel. So what would you do differently?
I would run a different ideology. I am not an extreme rightist. I'm not a pure 100% capitalist. I don't have a problem with capitalism.
So are you leftist?
I am not extreme leftist. I like how my president...
Babangida said a little to the left, a little to the right.
Now, capitalism is wonderful. You know, God has designed the earth for some part of the earth naturally to be mountains and others to be valleys. All right, that means definitely some people will have more than some. It's how the universe functions. You know, even universal laws and forces, you have higher and lower forces. All right, it's nature that some people will have more than some. It's also nature that some will be given more witty intentions and inventions than some. All right, but what is expected, you know, with a heart that is humanistic in nature, is that those that are strong should look after the weak.
Okay,
that's how we are in Africa. That's how we are. That's Ubuntu. I am because you are, because we are. That's our culture. The copying of the 100% Western capitalism is what has affected us badly. We are now living exactly the way they live, not having concern. In fact, not even that they don't have concern. They have concern for their weak and vulnerable in society. But we are taking this thing so out. I give an example. A friend of mine was talking about the subsidy regime in the US. You know, I was surprised to hear that the United States in 2026 budgeted $20 billion for subsidy for petroleum. And these are the fathers of capitalism. So why will Nigeria not just rather deal with the corruption in the system, in the subsidy system, than withdraw it entirely and see the shocks it has caused now? 40% employment, 63 million Nigerians living below the poverty line right now already. Because we didn't take time to look at what needs to be done. It's actually a lazy economics that we've practiced, purely.